Eureka! You found us! Welcome to the Check Out California radio show, your key to California hospitality. Hosted by Rad Gantos, principal of Rad Gantos and Associates, a hospitality and commercial real estate design firm, and Craig Sullivan, executive vice president of Park West GC, a hospitality and commercial real estate general contractor. Check Out California is focused on our state's hospitality, travel, and tourism markets, and on the large part they play in California's vibrant and innovative economic diversity and unique quality of life. Now, here are your hosts, Rad Gantos and Craig Sullivan.
Good afternoon. I am Craig Sullivan.
And I'm Rod Gantos.
And welcome to Check Out California. We've got two special guests here today. Mr. Steve Gostin from the Culinary Institute of Orange County. I'm sorry, that was absolutely wrong. The Art Institute
Holy cow.
of Orange County, the program chair and chef of the culinary group. And then we've got our friend Bill Bracken from Bracken's Kitchen joining us once again. So welcome to the show, and I apologize for that faux pas.
Well, yeah, you apologize, and Steve and I are going to have to face the music tomorrow when we basically are at the
Yes,
school.
you will. So
For those who don't know, can you hear
Take
me,
care.
Paul?
We can
hear you.
For those who don't know, I've actually been privileged to be asked again this quarter to actually teach a class on hotel design. Since this is a hospitality show, I think I could do a plug for that now. And Greg keeps telling me that he's going to probably come and,
Give me a date and time.
yeah, give the students a little bit of benefit of his background. So Steve and I know each other from the Art Institute of Orange County, where they have a culinary program. Is that
Correct.
And
Is
Steve's
is
the
better?
program chair.
And he's
Well-
the program chair.
Let me see if we can get this right. It's the Art Institute of
Wow, I
California
think we got both.
in Orange
County.
County.
I think we got
So-
both this right
We
there.
did.
Yeah, we
We
did.
did.
You got to look at the bottom of your paycheck.
It's what paycheck?
Take that Kit Kat.
Kidding. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is how I get
Yeah,
paid.
see?
I get paid in chocolate.
Yeah.
Now, do you want to mention that since you're doing a culinary-themed show with a great chef and the Art
Two great
Institute
chefs.
of California, Orange County, that we've just finished your previous show and we're finishing up the bottle of
Some of us are.
No, Paul, you
Some of
take
us
that
are.
away. There you go. Thank you very
Louis
much.
Roederer.
Yeah.
The same.
So we had a great show before. A gentleman by the name of Bart Zandenberg,
Zandbergen.
and I know him as Bart. He's a buddy of mine, and we had him on the show. Segment put on by or sponsored by BespokeStyle.com, and we had a great show. And
He's a wealth manager, but on
And
the
I'm-
side, he happens to be a certified sommelier.
right, but the interesting thing is, I've been blessed right after that when Craig Sullivan, my co-host, walked in
more
with,
gifts.
with a bar of dark Kit Kat.
Yeah. The Kit Kat fanatic over here.
For the Kit Kat
Next to
fanatic
me.
I'm here.
So
anyway,
champagne and Kit Kats today.
Chocolate and alcohol.
Getting back to the people in
Life
the,
is good.
Yeah.
on a Wednesday at 1 o'clock.
At noon,
you know?
yeah, right, 1 o'clock.
And people are leaving California. I don't get it. Okay. But I also want to point out that we have another person in the room
We do.
Yes.
who is a return friend of the show.
Yes. And of the California Lodging Investment Conference.
Nice-
Mr. Bill Bracken.
Nice slide
Yes.
in there. The conference that Craig Sullivan puts on successfully. He's put it on for 2 years and
Thank you.
is going to be putting it on again next year. And Bill Bracken is with us today from Bracken's Kitchen. And Bill is, and we've said this to people before on the air, is our Check Out California select nonprofit that we encourage everybody to find out about. Bill, what's the website?
Along with the Click Conference as well.
What's the website, Bill?
www.brackenskitchen.com.
Nobody does WWW anymore.
I was trying to do dub and a W came out.
And if you didn't hear the previous show, obviously Bill's credentials are deep. You were last executive chef where? Up at the Peninsula? Is that right?
Peninsula is where I spent a number of years with Four Seasons Hotels as well, the Island Hotel. And I did need to back up for a second. I do want you to know that Steve and I, true culinary professionals, had foie gras, caviar, and some truffles lined up for you today. But I came in and saw chocolate, so we just left that in the car. So
man.
You know, it is raining in California, and people just don't know what to do when it rains in California. So I get it. Okay, I appreciate it.
But you are aware that to earn a third visit, you either have to bring some food or something to consume here beyond Kit Kats here.
Absolutely.
So if you want to make it back
and
for
if
the
you
third
do,
show.
there's a real practical reasons for it. By the way, Bill, it keeps Paul quiet.
Yes.
I
That's
think
why
it's
Paul
so-
got the
so-
first
so-
candy bar.
So help a guy out. Right?
Absolutely.
So
But-
why don't you tell us about the Hungry Games?
Yeah, what is this thing I hear about the Hungry Games, and it's sold out, and my classroom's going to be barricaded, by bread tables, and it sounds pretty like ambitious, but it also seems kind of like, what's going on?
Well, let me segue, and then we're going to let Bill take over. But basically, the Hungry Games is Bill and Bracken's Kitchen's first ever fundraising event. And what started as a small competition has turned into a full-blown out dream come true. And it's really cool to be working with them at the Art Institute, because we're opening our doors and our kitchens to some amazing chefs from Orange County. So it's a competition and a fundraiser auction, but I get to highlight my students as well.
Perfect.
And it's an amazing opportunity. So, but
You
Bill,
bought tickets, right? You're going to be there.
I did buy tickets. Matter of fact, I'm
Thank
bringing
you.
my son, and I'm also bringing our director of operations from Park West GC, Nancy Nguyen, and it was her birthday last week.
Happy
birthday, Nancy.
Happy birthday.
So yeah, the three of us will be there and connect with everybody tomorrow.
It is.
So-
It is definitely a who's who, man. I looked at that list and it was like, wow,
Right?
really? These gentlemen just scored big time, right? I mean, it's going to be an
Definitely
awesome,
blessed to have some of the chefs we got coming for
absolutely.
sure.
So when and where?
And,
What-
and some characters, man. You got some good characters there. It's going to be a show tomorrow.
it's going to be, I think, a comedy show, a cooking show, a showcase of amazing food.
We won't even
and
point out to who
stylings.
you may be referring to when you say
Oh,
that.
there's a host, but I got a plug. So we have one chef competing. He's new in the game. He's also one of my students. His name is Rufus Bloomfield.
Rufus Bloomfield.
Rufus Bloomfield. There aren't
Rufus.
too many people you're going to meet named Rufus.
Yeah.
But he's also a personal chef and the corporate chef for Nobleman Magazine.
Yes, he
Oh
is.
wow.
Here
and
out
so,
of
Nice.
Orange
just so
County.
we're clear, somebody tweeted when, where, and what is it?
It's going to be tomorrow night at the Art Institute of California, Orange County, 3601 West Sunflower Avenue, Santa Ana, California, 92704.
Go. And what,
From
what happens?
6
I think we
p.m.
should
to
get rid of Paul and have
8:30.
him announce the
Yeah.
show.
And what happens there? What happens?
What, I'm sorry, back up on the time, 6 to what?
6 to 8:30.
Yeah.
I saw the update.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw the update on the Facebook page, right? We're anticipating it running over.
Just a
but
tad.
Just
you
a
know,
smidge. Yeah.
It is what it is, but it's all for a worthy cause.
And what happens? What will people see if they go there?
Bill, I think you should take over here.
Absolutely, and I'm going to back up a second. In addition to being the program chair at the Art Institute, Steve is one of the board members of Bracken's Kitchen. He joined us how long ago?
6 months ago.
6 months ago, 9 months ago, and he reached out to us, and I got to know Steve. He heard about Bracken's Kitchen, the work we do, and it's an obvious connection between Hungry Leaf and training students, Art Institute, and our desire
nice.
to create a culinary training program at Bracken's Kitchen. So we've been blessed to have Steve on board as one of our board members, and he stepped up, and the Art Institute and Dream Center and everybody now with all the changes have stepped
Very
up in a
nice.
major way to support this event. So we truly are excited.
And what is Bracken's Kitchen?
Really, Rod?
No, I mean for people
know.
that are
I think the champagne got
somebody's got to be
so.
that guy in the room, right?
We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization here in Orange County focused on Hungry Leaf, poverty, and culinary training for the less fortunate. So we're based here in Orange County, but the beauty of what we do with the food truck feeding program and 6 wheels on a vehicle, we can feed anywhere. We can go anywhere. So we're really focused on recovered food, which is a big part of our future. And really what's happened in America we can talk about later. But backing up to, I guess, the Hungry Games for a second,
Yeah.
What is it?
5 years into this nonprofit of ours, we always struggled with what an event would look like for us. I mean, I'm sure all of you have been to some sort of large fundraiser events. There's galas, there's the anti-gala, you name it. But, Miracles for Kids is one of our collaborative partners, has got their big event coming up at the St. Regis that they're already advertising.
Right.
So, I mean, it's easy for a nonprofit that's working on curing cancer or heart disease or other things to put on a big gala. But for us, it was too much of a dichotomy to put on a big, fancy food and beverage fundraiser at a big resort to raise money for families
Right.
and kids who don't have a meal. I mean, to sit around and eat a lot of food and drink a lot of alcohol, and while someone in Orange County right now doesn't have a meal, it was really a struggle for us to figure out how we can do an event. So, you know, I don't even remember how we came up with the name, the Hungry Games. Obviously, it's a play on the Hunger Games movie series. We're doing, tying in a few pieces to that, but really we want to do something fun. The Art Institute in the kitchen is the perfect setting. People certainly aren't even encouraged to get dressed up. It's in the kitchen. It's going to be a live setting.
Yep.
We wanted to have
Very
some fun.
nice.
We wanted to create some fun with the chefs and competing. So, we got some of Orange County's top chefs, even LA for that matter. We got Ray Garcia from Broken Spanish in LA coming
Yep.
down, and BS Taqueria, a man I used to work with years ago. So great to have him join us. Jason Montalbano from Chapter 1 in Orange County, also someone that I used to work with. So it's great to see a couple people that used to work for me years ago find success, and now they're coming back to support us.
And what will they do? If I go there, what will I see these chefs doing? What's the competition?
Well, they're going to be juggling apples, and then they're going to be juggling. Let me get a couple more plugs.
Bow
in.
and arrow.
We got a couple more heavy hitters.
Let me
The
get a couple
monkeys
more
are coming
plugs
out
in here,
later.
absolutely.
Flying
But,
monkeys?
Any monkeys. My wife would kill me if I told a joke about the monkeys and the football.
Okay, that's not them.
I know that joke. Usually two monkeys.
Right?
But on top of the chefs I already mentioned, we obviously
Ignore them, Bill.
I'm trying real hard here. Just keep on talking. Can't you tell? I think right across the courtyard here, you got this restaurant called Vodka that's pretty well known.
Wonderful.
Yeah, you're right down the street, right?
Really,
Like
really
I could throw
good.
something at it.
Amar Santana's going to be there, so we're blessed to have him. We got Dean Nguyen from Break of Dawn Laguna, the biggest personality. Well, I think Amar and Rainer Schwartz are personality competition there, but Rainer from Hendrix and the Deck in Laguna and Driftwood Kitchen will be there. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6. I named it all. You named Rufus already.
That's 7.
So we got a great group of people.
Who's the last minute additions? We have the bread.
Well, we got Dean Kim from OC Baking doing bread.
Very
He's going
nice.
to block your office, your classroom there.
It's okay. I'll allow it.
Tariq Tangiseri from Crema Bakery's coming down for desserts, and the Dirty Cookie Shahira's coming to do desserts. And of course, let's not forget, most importantly, is the students and chefs at the Art Institute. They're doing the reception.
Nice.
They're doing some of the dessert stuff as well. So we're really excited.
So
to
I'll
have
take
them
one
involved.
last shot at this.
I'm
what
going
are they
right
going
now.
to do? What do they do when I see when I go there? What do I see?
You will walk between the 3 live kitchens upstairs where we'll have the 7 chefs competing, and they're going to be making appetizers. Their signature dishes. The people, the guests, get to come in and they get to try all the food that's happening, and they get to vote on the best dish. And at the end of the night, we tally up the votes, and we have a Hungry Games champion.
How are they going to vote, Bill?
They're going to take a little poker chip. They're going to give them 2 of them exactly, and they're going to vote, drop them in the voting vessel, the Bain Marie, because we're in the kitchen. Most people don't know what a Bain Marie is, I was told. So, obviously you'll dine and pick out your 2 best meals and 2 best dishes and go back and vote on them. And we're obviously we got a few things that we're mixing in to the events that no one knows about, and we'll save that for the night of the event. We're not quite. What is that TV show? Cutthroat Kitchen.
Yeah.
We're not quite that, but we have a couple of fun things we'll introduce.
I don't know,
on the
man.
night
Have
of.
you spent much time at that school? I mean,
It can be a little cutthroat, huh?
you try to find a marker to write on the board, man. It's
Right.
cutthroat, I'll tell you.
I know. Considering
Right?
what we do, you think they'd provide better erasers for a whiteboard.
I am not even going to go there. You're a head of a department. I'm just a measly adjunct professor.
We have aprons and we have spoons and everything and knives. We give people knives, but the erasers not so
So,
much.
ladies and gentlemen, if you're thinking of a career path at the Art Institute of Orange County, you might want to basically follow the culinary path, because the design department, we don't have markers thrown on the wall. I'm kidding, Denise. I'm kidding. Okay, I'm kidding.
You guys are all in trouble
actually-
tomorrow,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Oh, man.
We're all in trouble. But I will say, I mean, his mic is falling down even. But I will say that it is an amazing, honestly, amazing activity that you guys have been pulling off here. And it's all for a good cause, because
yeah.
it's all for the benefit of
Bracken's Kitchen.
Bracken's Kitchen. And if you haven't bought your tickets, I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
You're going to have to wait for the next one
You're going to
in
have to
fall.
wait for the next Hungry Games.
I just want to, what Bracken's Kitchen does is amazing because it's not just going out and feeding people. It's not like there's canned food, things like that. I mean, my wife makes sandwiches for needy people at church every week. But what really got me with Bracken's Kitchen and Bill especially, he's making hot, nutritious food.
Yeah.
Right.
He's creating food that we would get restaurant quality,
Right.
that these people would never, ever have the opportunity to experience. I mean, he's brought some to some of our meetings. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. What is this? He goes, oh, we served it off Betsy last night and it was leftover.
And for those who don't
I'm
know
like-
what Betsy is a food truck that Bill got hold of, and you'd have to listen to the other show when Bill was on, okay, in order to find out more about Betsy, or you can come out and meet her if you happen to have tickets, right? Or follow. Can they follow us? Are we going to do any kind of live stuff on social media tomorrow?
Yeah, we're working on a couple people to take over our Instagram account. Hopefully, if not, we'll do our best to keep everything going there ourselves. But
And, you know, since I'm going to be blocked from my classroom with bread tables, then, you know, I might...
Locked in, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
we'll let you take over
Yeah.
Instagram.
You're going to let me take over your Instagram?
know what
Whoa,
kind
I
of-
don't know,
Yeah,
man.
that's not a
you have
good
on your own.
idea.
You have a
Don't-
That's
following?
not a good idea.
Don't tease me like that.
Well, I got to tell you, so the Art Institute
But I
is
might
really,
do some Facebook live feeds.
okay,
on there.
well, they've really embraced this, and they've allowed our campus to take our program national.
Wow.
So they're opening up our Instagram and
fabulous.
Snapchat
That's fabulous.
from the national level, and we're going to be controlling it. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity. And
Very
Rod,
nice.
if you're ready to do that,
Oh, I'll
we
do-
could
I'll do
use the
I'll
help.
do it. I'm going to be there. I'm more than happy to. And
Can
and
we
I
see
I-
what kind of following he has before we ask him? Doing
Yeah,
I'm not
you
sure
might
how
wanna-
popular
no,
he
no.
is.
It's not how many people I have following me.
The quality
It's
of
the
them.
quality
yeah,
of
it's
the
the
people that
quality.
follow.
You might want to
Exactly.
take a look at that
Yeah,
first.
see, this is a smart man right here.
Yeah.
Okay, but I think it's awesome, and the caliber of the people. I mean, when I was doing the little flyer teaser for this show, I'm like, wow,
It's amazing.
this is right out of the chute, first time around. I mean, it speaks volumes about the organization and people wanting to be associated with it. And I genuinely would encourage you to find out more about Bracken's Kitchen. There's going to be
Absolutely.
opportunities to be involved with them. You know, they are supported by a lot of great people that make their mission possible. And it really was driven by the fact that the food that was being provided for those who are in the need was not of the nutritional caliber and value that somebody of Bill's background felt was appropriate. And basically, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is not right, but there was a better way to do it. And in fact, you started off having people come to you and then realize that they're taking all their pennies to make it to you to get that free meal. So instead, you said, I'm going to take the food to them.
Absolutely. And Rod, if I can just add, you know, we've been doing
Add
a little
away.
bit- we've been doing a little. I've been doing a little soul searching, if you will, with this fundraiser coming up. And I speak about Bracken's Kitchen all the time, all the time. And you know, doing an event of our own, it really made me think, what do I want to share with people? What do I want to talk about? And
Yeah.
you know, we have a man that we'll talk about very briefly who's on our culinary training program. His name is Caesar, and we haven't seen him for about 10 days. He has had his share of life issues and challenges, and ended up, we met him in recuperative care with Illumination Foundation, one of our collaborative partners, and he's gotten his life back in order, came in the kitchen, developing culinary training. He's got a background that he worked in restaurants years ago, and in the last 2 weeks he found out double whammy, that his adult daughter has breast cancer and that his father has breast cancer. So just when he's finally getting things back in order and really
How?
getting his life back on track, he gets a double whammy. And you know what? I mean, this is just a reality. I think of my 54 years on this earth and the many, many challenges that I've faced in life. I mean, life has a way of really
Yep.
putting really challenges in front of us, and we've faced some really big obstacles. But in 2018 in America, especially Southern California, tasting nutritious meals should not be an obstacle for anybody. You know, and if we
Absolutely.
can help, I mean, when someone like that is battling cancer and the family has to worry about where their next meal is coming from, man, we can do better in this country, and that's
We
really
can.
that's the core of who we are as an organization.
or that you're one step away from being homeless because of
Yeah.
that medical bill that may be coming your way. I mean, and it's not just California or
It's
Or,
anywhere.
Orange County, affluent. I mean, it really is a reflection on us as a country that we have these things. And if it wasn't by the grace of God and people like you, honestly, that are stepping up and doing this, we have such a need. And it is so undealt with. And, not pointing fingers at anybody, but closing a blind eye, kicking the can down the road, all the justifications on the planet does not make this get worked out.
You can't justify this.
You can't. I am my brother's keeper. I really believe that. And whether you're spiritual, whether you're religious, seeing somebody like that basically suffer, somebody like you're just describing, who basically are pulling themselves up, they're basically getting themselves back in thing, and what happens to them is happens to everybody. Nobody in this room is immune. You're going to get kicked in the stomach in the time that you probably least expect it.
Yeah.
And then if it wasn't for a support system to shore you up when you're kind of down, if it wasn't for something like this, like I'll even use Ronald McDonald House, for example, where people that parents that have to commute for 30 minutes in Orange County, stuck in traffic, and basically to have their kids basically receive basic medical life-saving treatments, and if it wasn't for a place where they could sleep, that was proximity-wise close to that, think of the pressure that puts on the family. So anything that anybody can do through organizations like Bracken's Kitchen, through organizations like Ronald McDonald House, these are things that I think it is our duty as citizens to basically participate in.
Absolutely. I want to let the audience know there's a powerful video on YouTube about Bracken's Kitchen that Shell Oil produced. And we played it at the CLIC conference a couple of times for all the attendees. And Bill and I have a mutual friend, and that's how we met. And we had him on the show, and I saw the video, and it moved me. And every place I go, I talk about Bracken's Kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And, the conference will be supporting you again next year. We're going to do everything that we can to help Bracken's Kitchen and raise the level of awareness, because, you guys are doing something that's just tremendous out there that's needed, that unfortunately we've got people that have fallen through what limited safety nets we've had, and this county is way too affluent to let this happen, and we need to take care of our brother. We really do.
Absolutely.
And our sister.
I mean, it amazes me, and I've got 2 teenagers and a 7-year-old, and it's so much easier for us to turn a blind eye to the problems, and then we glorify these quasi-celebrities on television.
Yep.
And I'm like, let's look at the real
Throw
problem.
the athletes in there as well.
Yeah, but I mean, my
Yeah.
wife and I were talking this morning after we dropped the kids off. I'm like, one of the biggest stories in politics has come about, and we're witnessing it, between North and South Korea. And we got to spend all this time talking about Kanye West?
Yeah.
Give me a break. Right? But when you have...
Kanye's coming in here next week, so I don't know.
Oh, boy.
Good. I'd like to see him. All right? Because he could donate and do something big for Bracken's
Steve, let's
Kitchen.
let's not forget, and all of us, listen, I was one of those people, and I've never had a cold heart, or I never tend to turn a blind eye toward anybody, but life is tough. Life's demanding. It's challenging, and you get wrapped up in life, and the last thing on your mind is that person standing on the corner that needs some help. And I have one of my 8-year-old son plays on a baseball team. There's a kid on the team, little brother I play with every time at a game. I'm tossing the ball with him. I won't mention names. Dad is a police officer here in Orange County. Mother's a wonderful person. They take their son every Monday to Chalk Hospital for treatment for a disease that could end his life.
Right.
And it breaks my heart to think about it. But there are people that have means, and you take another family in that same situation. The dad's a dishwasher at a local hotel, or a gardener, whatever, a low-income earner.
Right.
And they're just struggling to get by. And oftentimes it's easy for us personally to throw it at, well, they made mistakes in life, they got themselves in that position. Poverty isn't a choice.
No, it's not.
And Martin Luther King once said that it's a preposterous notion for us to expect someone who's bootless to pull himself up by his bootstraps.
Yep.
And the world is full of people that are bootless, not by their choices, but either because life deals you some rough blows, or you were born into poverty and you work to get out of it. And those are the people that say what you want about someone who's made life mistakes and done some silly things.
Have
and
we
lived
not
in the
all?
gutter. We all have, but
Yep.
someone who's done absolutely nothing but just try to live their life, and they end up in that place. And like Rod said, aren't we, our brother's keeper? Shouldn't we
Absolutely.
do something to help
But
out?
you know what struck me the last time you were here, and I thought it was very honest and open? It's the elephant in the room. We want to help, but we don't know how, one. and we're afraid to, because you're dealing with a population that we are afraid of. Homeless. Are they on drugs? Are they criminals? Are they psychotic? Are they crazy or whatever? And so we have a tendency, as much as we want to be our brother's keeper, and you talked about this when you first went out and started working with people, a feeling of wanting to help those, and yet a hesitation to get too close and too involved.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one thing that's important, we tend to, we live in a world where we put everything into boxes.
Right.
I mean, we have to fit everything into some sort of box. And poverty, low income, homeless, those are all different boxes.
You drive around, you step across the street.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
Well, it's
You avoid.
it's your comfort, right?
Right.
My comfort is this box that I can define. I have a fear of the unknown. I have a fear of putting myself out at risk, right? But here's the thing: you can be smart and you can be cautious about how you go about doing that, right? The thing I think that I want to add to what your list, Paul, is that there's probably a fear of not being able to make enough of a difference. That basically you want to, but it's such an overwhelming situation that you feel like, what difference can I make? Well, I'll tell you, the only way you find out how much of a difference you can make and how meaningful it is when you actually engage. Because sitting on the outside and looking at it, you're never going to get a sense that you are going to be able to make a difference. But boy, do you make a big difference. And you make it in the slightest ways that you think are meaningless, but they're so meaningful to other people.
We had somebody in last week talking about another worthy charity, Wells of Life. Shout out to Nick and work he does building wells of water wells over in Africa for people who otherwise don't have clean water and therefore die of diseases in children and whatnot. And he said the same thing. He said that problem with so many of these things, homelessness, starvation in Africa, other things we hear about all the time, is they never seem to go away. It's endless, and you get sort of exhausted. Well, I give up. I can't make any difference. So this is never going to change. And yet, to your point, the starfish example, walking down the street, you can't save all the starfish that get washed up in the shore, but you can save this one.
It's not about solving the problem.
Right.
It's about whatever little difference you can make while you are engaged.
If everybody made a little bit of a difference, and it goes back, I mean, in the classroom, I teach my students, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with just one step, right?
And how do you eat an elephant, gentlemen?
One bite at a time.
That's right.
Let's go to a break and we'll come back.
All right. Well, on that
Exactly.
note.
And I had to end the first part on a culinary.
OCTalkRadio.net. Imagine what it would feel like to lose everything. Your job, your home, your family, your dignity. This has happened to thousands of the men, women, veterans, and young adults we serve at Working Wardrobes. What do we do to help? We provide career development services, life skills workshops, job skills training. We provide the perfect interview outfit, and we get clients placed in jobs. Call Working Wardrobes, 714-210-2460. Donate, volunteer, invest, hire.
When you use the Premier Rewards Gold Card from American Express, the rewards points can keep on multiplying. Buy 3 with triple points on airfare. Buy 2 with double points on gas and groceries. And a single point for pretty much every other dollar you spend on the card. Then, start choosing from over 1 million rewards to redeem all those points. Apply today and the annual fee for the first year is on us. Call 1-800-AXP-GOLD or visit AXPGold.com. The annual fee for the card is $175. See terms, conditions, and restrictions at AXPGold.com.
All right, we're back.
Welcome back to Check Out California. We are talking about the Hungry Games, and
I'm getting hungry just thinking about it.
yeah, so am I. And
You're always hungry.
you need to pay attention to the board, okay? Steve, tell us about your program over at the school.
We have culinary arts, culinary management, hospitality, food and beverage management.
Nice.
We are not a cooking school. That is the biggest issue that I tell everybody. We're not a cooking school. We are a culinary college. We offer diplomas. We offer associate degrees. We offer bachelor's degrees. We are WASC accredited, which is the highest accreditation in the Western region. And we are also ACF accredited, which is the American Culinary Federation. I believe there is no other college or cooking school that can claim having both those accreditations.
Congratulations.
Thank
and
you.
It's just right down the street
Yeah.
from where we are right now.
And it's an amazing program. We've got some amazing people. I'm also the faculty coordinator for the Student Veterans of America. We have a large veteran community. We recently formed a catering company through the students. I mentor them through this catering business. It's called OC Chef Concierge. And Rufus is on that. He's a Marine. And I've got Cody's with the Air Force, Sal with the Army, Mike's from the Army. So we have some talented individuals that are veterans, and they're helping other veterans. But we're providing amazing food and having a lot of fun doing it. And we also, I got to plug our restaurant.
Absolutely.
Used to be called 50 Forks. We remodeled last summer. We changed the name to Exhibit because we're trying to encompass everything our campus offers.
Much better name.
Yeah.
Much better name.
Yeah, but we have a beautiful dinner menu going right now, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday nights this quarter between...
Except this Thursday.
Except
Except
because
this
there's
Thursday,
The
yes.
Hunger Games.
Hungry Games.
Yeah.
5:30 to 7:30, and then we'll be back on lunch next quarter.
Okay. Great. I'm going to come over for
And,
dinner.
and part of that environment is actually there is usually an exhibit of some form as you lead towards the restaurant. And in fact, there was one recently that was about veterans
Yeah.
and that were homeless.
Yeah, it was.
Did you see
I
that? Bill?
can't remember the photographer's name that presented it, but it was just absolutely beautiful black and white portraits of these homeless vets, and just so crazy to see these pictures.
Yep.
People that served our country and
Yeah.
sacrificed so much. And
Absolutely.
I need to go back and just give you a plug, Steve. When you first reached out to me and we met, we had lunch in Exhibit, and I was blown away with the lunch I had. And maybe because I haven't had lunch today, I'm really hungry. But I remember that meal. Those students did a really good job there. So hats off to them and the work they do there.
Thank you. Yeah, the Exhibit is student run and operated. It's an actual classroom, and it's towards the end of their program. So they're learning how to work cohesively, back of house, front of house, learning the operations on a very small scale of what it's like to be in a restaurant.
Right. Well, let me ask you something. Since this is a hotel, travel, and tourism program on California, so we reach a lot of hotel owners, third-party management companies, restaurateurs. Do you have any type of programs for internships with the various hotels, whether it's a boutique or a chain or anything in between?
Absolutely. We do have internship programs, and we're reaching out. We're growing that program. It is part of their requirements for the bachelor degree.
Wonderful.
So they have to do internship. We're doing so much more in the community, and part of the reason I wanted to partner with Bill was I believe it's important that culinary students learn the other side of the culinary world.
Yeah.
It's a hard industry to get into. It's a hard industry to work, and Bill knows that better than anybody. Yeah. But it's even harder to realize that you have the power to help feed people.
Right.
So that's why one of the reasons that drove me to contacting Bill was they are our charity of choice as well. And it's important that people realize food is a part of life. It's a necessity of life. And it's not difficult to make great tasting food and to help people enjoy it.
I would call
that's the passion.
I would say good tasting food that's nutritious is not just an option either. It is a necessity.
It is a necessity.
If that's the only meal that you're having, and that's the only access that you have, then it's very important that it has nutritional value.
Absolutely.
And if I can just chime in, because we continue to debate, not as much, but we continue to talk in America about health care, about Obamacare, about the right for health care and insurance, all these things. And I proposed to all of you, and I didn't come up with it, I heard it from someone else, but the absolute lowest cost, cheapest form of health care is a tasty, nutritious meal. And when it comes to so many people's health, it starts with what they eat.
Yep.
And I mean, when you look at the issues of obesity and diabetes and all these things in the low-income population, it's directly tied to a person's diet.
And just about everybody in this room, excuse me for interrupting, just about everybody in this room was born in the 50s. So,
I'm 63.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Why are you looking at
Yeah, I'm like, what's up with that?
We had
just
good
makes
food.
assumptions
It wasn't this chemically injected and, this garbage that we seem to perpetually eat every day with no choice. So that's another reason why with Bill's, Bracken's Kitchen that I said, okay, this is something that I need to support. So
Absolutely.
but getting back to the hotels, I want to challenge all of my hotel friends, whether you're an owner, operator, a management company, a brand, get a hold of me. I will get you in contact with Steve, and hopefully you guys can start doing some sort of internship program and hire some really talented people and help them with their educational process.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I'd like to have you at the conference next year as well.
Be honored.
And we'll talk off air about that.
Is Bill going to bring food this time?
Absolutely.
I'll bring food too.
Craig, I'm going to put
Will
a
do.
quick shameless plug for Bracken's Kitchen. One of the most exciting things, I should say, not the best, that we're working on, as we continue to develop our culinary training program, is working with the Art Institute and how, working with Dream Center now, the I guess you call it the owners, but how we can partner together and take those individuals that can never afford an education at the Art Institute on their own to come into Bracken's Kitchen and partning with the Art Institute, provide
great.
them.
I love it.
Because our goal is my goal is, somewhere in the future, soon, that it's the Mar Santanas and the Dean Nguyen's and Rainer Schwartz that are coming to the Hungry Games. They need a cook. Hey, Bill, who do you got that's ready to go to work? And they call us up, and I got this student that here's where he came from. Here's his background. We're working on a project right now with Westminster High School, putting some kids in the transitional services department to work this summer in training. And these are kids that will never make it to college on their own. But if we can put them to work, partnering with Steve and the team at the Art Institute to give them even more training and opportunities. This is how you change lives and give people a path out of poverty and help them.
Absolutely.
Couldn't agree more.
A lot of people don't realize
teaching
at
them
the
how
Art
to fish.
Institute, we have a college-bound program for high school seniors and juniors.
Really?
So currently I have 4 students going through the college-bound. It's every Saturday for 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
They get to work with one of our chef instructors. They get to work in one of our kitchens. They get to learn the fundamentals of cooking. So we do this every quarter, not just culinary, other programs as well, but culinary is the big one.
Yeah.
And, I've been in this industry pretty much my entire adult life. I've been working in the restaurant industry for so many years. And one of the big things I do, because I have a consulting business here in Costa Mesa, Culinary Networking Group. And
He's got a couple of them, actually.
I am a man of many hats.
Give us the website.
Culinarynetworkinggroup.com. And one of the big things I do with my clients is I teach them about waste. And it's just so disgusting how much food is wasted.
Give an
daily
idea,
basis.
Steve. How much food is wasted on a daily basis?
Thousands of dollars. There was one company I was the vice president for, and it was a fast food place. It took me about 14 days to educate the owner that just by burning this, dropping this on the floor, throwing it away, he was losing $3,200 a month in product waste. Because nobody was... It all comes back to training and education.
Right.
If you don't train and educate your team on what to do, it's not going to happen.
How much of that food that is wasted, that is thrown out, is recoverable and repurposed?
80%,
Or
90%.
or can be repurposed, I should
80
say.
and 90%. A lot of it can be done because it's ignorance, not knowing how to order, not knowing how to purchase, not knowing what they're doing, and it happens in the industry, and that's why so many restaurants close.
Mm-hmm.
They hire people to be managers, or they promote a good server into a management position, but they
And they're
don't
not
teach
ready
them how to
for
be
it, right.
leaders.
Yeah.
They don't teach them, the proper way to manage and operate. So
One of the hardest businesses out there.
it is. It is. I mean, if you want to hire a good leader, you hire a restaurant manager. Because I'll tell you what, a good restaurant manager has excellent leadership skills, people skills, organizational skills.
Yeah.
Cost
We're not
control
perfect.
skills.
Yeah.
Bill, how much of that produce that you guys use is recovered or donated?
Well, it's interesting you was asking about, wasted and everything
Yeah.
like that there. I think we talked about it last time. USDA put out a report recently that estimates between 25 and 40% of all food processed, grown in America ends up in our landfills having never been consumed by a human.
Yeah.
40%. And I mean, I'll talk real quick because I don't want to get too far off the topic. But you know, when you look at hunger statistics in America right now, if you go on Feeding America's website, it says 1 out of 8 Americans,
Yep.
and that fluctuates between 1 and 6. But 1 out of 8 faces hunger every day.
Yep.
I mean, do the math. 1 out of 8 is 12.5% of our population.
And we're throwing away
Yeah.
40% of our food.
Well, so I told you that 60% of the food in America is feeding 88% of the population. Imagine what we can do with those other people.
Yep.
And, you know, last week we're surrounded by some great partners at Bracken's Kitchen, Newport Meat Company, LA Specialty, Santa Monica Seafood. This week I got in cases of frozen lobster meat, shrimp, crab.
We're eating at the wrong place.
you
Yeah,
know,
we
right.
definitely are.
This is all product, and you got to understand. Yes, there's what Steve was talking about, running a business. There's poor management, over ordering. But if you're a premier meat, produce, seafood, chicken company in
Yeah.
America, serving and providing for the Amar Santana's of the world, the top chefs, you don't run out of product.
Yeah.
You know, so if a chef calls you and I need 50 pounds of this, you got to have it.
Well,
So
and
it's-
you can't keep it too long either.
Exactly, and there's a fine art in running a
Yeah.
business to have the right amount
Right.
and not too much. And
what
yeah,
Steve
it's-
was talking
yeah.
about, yeah.
And at one point in time, you're gonna have too much of this, so you throw it in the freezer. And then if you're a business, you throw it in the freezer and you discount the price and try to move it. And if you're a premier supplier, you don't have a lot of chain restaurants you're buying from, so it sits in the freezer and eventually it goes in
Yeah.
the trash unless you find someone like
You know
Bracken's
what I
Kitchen
find
to
really
take it.
fascinating is that we are so embracing and have been for so long about being green, to the point where restaurants are basically using
Forks
biodegradable containers and
made out of
forks
corn.
out of
Corn,
corn
yeah,
and all
right,
this stuff,
yeah.
and straws made out of straw, and all this stuff. And yet we're being the least green possible by not recycling our food.
Right.
You know what's interesting? I've realized when it comes to hunger relief in general, the food bank model that has fed America's poor for the last 50 years, it's the same model that I'm
Hasn't
talking
changed.
about.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it definitely hasn't changed. I'll correct that. We're changing, and
Yeah.
Second
Yeah.
Harvest Food Bank in Orange County does an amazing job.
Right.
I think up to 70% of their product is fresh. But the point is, they're not going out and buying canned foods and giving it away. They're recovering and repurposing
Same.
canned processed products. So we're at Bracken's Kitchen, and what's happening in America is we're trying to do the same thing with perishable that we've been doing with processed for 100 years. I mean, when your church does a food drive for the food bank, do you go out the grocery store and buy it? No, you go into your cabinet and you get the
Absolutely.
canned stuff that's been there for the last 6 months you haven't used, and you throw it in the bin, and that's the food drive in America.
Ironically, though, Bill, and this
You're
is
right.
really funny, I see people grabbing those paper bags and going to the grocery store and getting new product, putting it in it so that they could drop it off at the schools.
Right.
It's actually ironic, right? Because yes, I am participating in this, but I'm not knocking it. I'm going to the grocery store to buy new product to put in the bags for a food drive, rather than actually going into
Yeah,
my and I don't know. It's no. I'm not going to give them my old stuff. I'm going to get new stuff. I don't know what it is, but yeah, the model for how we have dealt with this problem has been institutionalized, and it's never going to be not a problem. We might reduce the frequency of it. We might make a ding into it. There are going to be economic conditions that change.
Absolutely.
Certain parts of the countries are going to go through their ebbs and flows, and we're going to basically just have this sort of ongoing thing. There's always been hungry people. There's always been people that are maybe homeless temporarily or otherwise. They used to call them transitional labor,
Yeah.
right? And the labor
did.
department, right? And they evaluated them differently. It wasn't unemployment. It wasn't transitional
Transitional
labor.
labor.
Yeah, but the
Yeah.
difference I'm seeing today, and it's because of people like Bill, and I got to plug Cisco Los Angeles. The president there, Brian Allred, and the friends that I have there that I work with, they are doing a lot to ensure that a lot of organizations like Bracken's Kitchen is getting food that they can't use any longer.
Right.
So there are these big corporations that are starting to recognize and are, I mean, you mentioned Newport Meats, other Santa Monica Seafood. We've reached out to Ingardia Brothers here in Orange County on several occasions at the Art Institute where they've donated food to us, especially salmon. But, the organizations like Cisco LA is taking an active stance and helping and ensuring that, I mean, we're talking about thousands of dollars of product
yeah.
that they are
Daily.
ensuring is
Daily.
going out to
We
the
go to-
food banks.
We go to Orange County Food Bank whenever we want to every week now. It's something new we started. And basically Cisco has a truck that comes out, I don't know if it's every day. I mean, again, they got produce and things that it's perfectly good, but it's no longer, Gelson's shelf quality that the chefs expect.
Right.
So
It's a bruised something.
it's cosmetically imperfect, so it ends up at Second Harvest.
Heaven forbid you should buy your groceries from in a cosmetically imperfect environment.
Well, and it's funny you say
Trying to
that,
talk
Rod,
to my
because
wife.
I spend my whole life, adult life.
That's
now.
how I bought my groceries. I remember with my mother in the food markets. I mean, it was open air.
That's
and
how
it
I
was
picked
bruised.
mine in my
Remember the
backyard
white
garden.
label?
And in fact,
dented-
I'm sorry. Do you not pay more for that and call it organic? I mean, wait, the cucumber is twisted. It's not straight. Oh, that's
It's
more
organic. Let's charge it
because
more
it has
for
an organic sticker on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you're growing it in your backyard because you wanted more original, or your tomatoes to taste better. I mean, I will double up on that, Steve. I agree, and it's I'm going to give a shout out to my friend Greer Wilder. We talked about the awesome chef down the street here, Amar Santana. I am really encouraged. Honestly, right? Because this is an overwhelming problem, and we're talking about homeless, but this goes across the board. I think there is a consciousness awakening that's happening, where people are saying, no, I'm not sitting here waiting for somebody else to take care of it. I'm going to jump in and I'm going to try to do whatever I can, not to where my life is basically completely dedicated to doing nothing but this, but wherever I can actually make a difference for whatever duration time, I can make a difference to whatever organization and vehicle that maybe is like a Bracken's Kitchen or whatever. I am going to engage and participate. And because I need that aspect in my life, I need that part of my soul fed.
Absolutely.
And I agree. And I think, when we started the whole Hungry Games idea, I mean, I was questioning, are we going to sell enough tickets? And then next thing we know,
That's pretty frightening.
it's
you know. Is it
exploded
gonna
to
hit?
being
Yeah.
sold out.
Yeah.
And we're like, wow, if we had a larger place,
Isn't that funny? You went from, oh no, I don't know, are we going to be able to pull this thing off?
Right.
Oh man, we don't have a big enough space for
But
this.
we've
to
gotten
get more
amazing sponsorship feedback. We've gotten amazing ticket sales. We're getting more and more people. I'm anticipating walk-ins, and it's great. But
You
it's
better have
because
security at the door.
right.
tickets. You know what? This I
I
mean,
got Rad.
But Rod, don't you? I know you're going to say something, Rod. But
With an
don't,
alligator vest. Yeah.
get philosophical here. Don't you think that part of what you're talking about, this awakening, it's a reality of what this country has been through in the last couple of years? And
Absolutely.
there's so much uncertainty. And I know myself personally,
Absolutely.
when I'm facing crisis, emotional, personal crisis, what feeds my soul, what makes me feel good is trying to do something. Even, and I say this honestly, my wife and I don't fight much at all, but if we ever have an issue, I go out and just do something for it. That's the way I, serve myself personally. And I think with everything going on in America today and, the last couple of years and politics and everything, regardless of what side of the fence you're on, there's so much uncertainty in America and all these things. So people want to get involved and do something. They feel like they're doing something to make the world a better place.
I will tell you, Bill. I mean, I wasn't born here. I didn't grow up here. I moved here when I was 20. Okay. And part of, call it nostalgic, maybe it was myth, it wasn't really truth, but part of the image of America, the shiny
City on the
Jewel
hill.
City
on the hill,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
was that basically you stepped up, and you could step up versus other places where the circles were too closed.
Yep.
Right? You could step up and you could make a difference, whatever it would be, pursuit-wise. You could make that decision, you could put action towards it, and you could make a difference to where you felt like you actually left it better than you found it, right? And I think along the way, and I'm not talking about it from a religious perspective, I think along the way, just the morality of it, that sense of being able to make a difference, not in terms of foreign intervention or stuff like that, but literally down the street, okay? We lost focus of that. And I think it is refreshing to see that we may be in a renaissance
Heading
to that
direction again.
Well, and I'm going to, let me finish. I'm going to respectfully disagree with you for
Okay,
a second.
go ahead.
I think at the heart of every human being is this need to feel loved and feel valuable, that their life in some way matters.
Okay.
And I don't think we've ever lost that need to feel like we need to make a difference. We've just lost how we feel like we made a difference, and our success has become in America judged on career, money, fame,
Right.
all those things.
Right.
And now we're coming back to that need has always been there, the need to make a difference or feel like our life in some way mattered. But now we're realizing maybe it isn't how big
Well, and I think, Bill,
this year's of that is, but it's what you did to make the world a better place.
Well, right. And I think along the way, we were sort of either told or convinced that we had to kind of make a choice and only settle
Yeah.
for one direction and then pursue those sort of
Absolutely.
trappings, right? Where in fact, there was a hunger in our soul for this other part of us that
Yeah.
you were talking
Yeah.
about that was not being fed. And that now we may be realizing that we can decide on our own terms how to make that mix, that sense of contentment and satisfaction for what it means for us individually.
Absolutely, yeah.
And for us, you got to remember, it's hospitality.
Yeah.
We're in the hospitality
It's
industry.
in our DNA.
And hospitality is all about providing for other people.
Yeah.
And if everybody in the hospitality industry came together and did what Bill's been doing, it'd be a much smaller problem.
Yes, it
And
would.
again, it's not about resolving the problem,
No.
taking it off the table. It's about literally making a difference in whatever way you can, and to do it I think with certain amount of humbleness and humility. I mean, this is somebody's life that you are genuinely impacting with that one warm meal in a way that you may never experience yourself, but they are.
And look at what we do in a classroom. We're teachers.
Yeah.
We're impacting and
Yeah.
changing lives, one way or another. And that
Daily,
is the
yeah.
most gratifying experience I could ever imagine.
Anybody who's never volunteered does not know what they're missing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Honestly.
I'm
So how
glad
do
you
people-
said that, and I would challenge. Sorry, I just interrupt you, Craig. Maybe
No
what you
worries.
said on talk radio, but I often wish that we can get some of our volunteers to be spokespersons, because the lives that we've changed that we never realized by allowing people an opportunity to get involved. I
Right.
mean, I've had conversations. I've seen tears flowing down people's faces and eyes, and because we give them an opportunity that they otherwise didn't know what to do. Volunteering is such a rewarding thing.
So
for
why
people.
don't you bring some of those in the next time you come, and bring some food with you, of course.
Absolutely.
That'll let you
Round
back in
3, I
the-
have to bring food. I understand.
Let's take that a step farther. Why don't we have you guys? I mean, Collins Hotel School is part of my conference as well. So why don't we make the Art Institute part of it? Bring a couple of people in, and we'll give you guys both. So I mean, you had some time this year, but we'll definitely
Absolutely.
have Bracken's Kitchen back, and you can talk about again some of the people you've helped, have them there, and let's. How much help are you guys getting from our local hotels?
From the local hotels, I don't know, but we're getting a lot of help. We definitely
I
have
don't
a
know. I don't know that I could answer that.
Yeah.
I don't go around and look at where this person works or that person works. But certainly, we're engaging more and more companies to have, there's opportunities for groups to come out, not individual one-offs. But
Yeah.
we get a lot of hospitality help for sure from the Dunkin' Donuts and Chick-fil-A's of the world, and people that want to bring groups out. But it's kind of in their DNA. I think in the luxury hotel world, especially, or the hospitality hotel world, it's a little bit tougher. You're open 24/7. Restaurant
Yeah.
closes its doors at a certain time every day.
So as we wrap up, how can people help you go both?
And how can they find out
touch?
more about the organization and the event coming up? But it's sold out. And when's the next one, Steve?
We're looking at the fall.
Fall?
Yeah,
And it's
we
all
wanna
part of
know.
gearing up toward a bigger. We'll have another event in the fall, and the winner of this one goes head to head with the winner of the fall
like
event in
that.
the spring at a big event at SoCo. So it's all part of a bigger plan.
Wonderful.
But visit
Let me know about
brackenskitchen.com.
sponsorship.
Bracken,
Absolutely.
spell that Bracken.
Yes, kitchen. Go ahead, spell it. You're doing good over there, Paul.
Bracken'sKitchen.com. And the Art Institute of California, Orange County. Then we got that name finally right here.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. and
How do they find out about you guys?
Yeah.
artinstitutes.edu/orange-county.
Art Institute, or it's Toots, plural?
Art Institutes.
Toots,
Art
plural.
Institute.
Just Google Steve Gostin, you'll find
Yeah,
it.
you know
Institute of
what?
Orange County.
If you Google my name, you'll find IntelliServe. That's a
You
responsible
really don't want to
beverage
tell them
service
all the
training.
things you'll find.
So how do we
Hey,
spell
yeah.
your name? How do we spell your name?
Steve Gostin, SteveGostin.com.
Almost sounds like Steve Austin, doesn't it?
It almost does.
We don't even want
He
to
is
talk
a
about
$6
the
million
jokes I
man.
heard.
Yeah, growing up. I'll tell you.
Oh, gosh.
Hey, I do want to thank today's sponsors, both Rad Gantos and Associates and Park West General Contractors. This show wouldn't be possible without both those firms helping us out. So thank you, Rad, and thank you, Chris and Ed over at Park West. I appreciate it. And remember, call these guys.
Yeah, definitely.
them.
Gentlemen.
Help out our communities,
Gentlemen,
please.
Steve and Bill, thanks for being here.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you've given us a lot to chew on.
Thank you. Is that candy bar gone, by the way?
Thank you for being our guest today on Checkout California. We look forward to having you as a guest with us again in 2 weeks. Until then, you can always reach us through our Checkout California Facebook page or by emailing us at checkoutcalifornia@gmail.com. We We love hearing from you. So do let us know what you think of the show and what areas of interest you'd like to see us cover in the future. Your feedback is very important to us as we continue to bring you the best hospitality our Golden State has to offer. Until next time, may all your days be filled with sunsets and palm trees. Now, go experience and check out California.